episode of Joe Mogul. And new Joe Mogul videos are available every Wednesday morning. So brighten up your life and tickle your smarts. Hit the subscribe button below and I will be sure to keep you on your toes.
I want to tell you today what it means to be a landlord in Ontario in 2022. And because the cost of housing went so high, I think a lot of people think the last people we need to think about or care about are landlords. They made so much money doing nothing in the last few years. The last thing we can worry about is their rights or is their situation right now. And I would like to tell you my personal story and basically show you why this is not just a problem of greedy landlords or honest landlords. Actually, those who are affected by the broken system in Ontario are also good tenant and anybody who cares about the cost of housing and wants to find some solutions to make this huge problem better. So in 2014, I was divorced. My job was kind of irregular in terms of I never knew when the next check is going to come. I'm a freelance and I decided to buy a house. It wasn't easy for me, but I did it. I bought a house in Barrie, Ontario in 2014. And, you know, back then I took a mortgage. I could still afford to take a mortgage and place a tenant in the house. It took about a year. And they finished paying the rent. They had issues paying the rent. I had to take them to the landlord tenant board, which is the govern that issue with problems with landlords and tenant. And in this case, they were honest people. They just couldn't pay it and they tried to get away with certain things. But in the end of the day, they left the house and left about $1,000 water bill that I had to pay. So that was my first bad experience with tenants, but that was just the beginning. About a year and a half later, I decided, okay, I have so much issues, you know, with cash flow, everything is getting more expensive. I decided to turn this into a duplex, a legal duplex. I invest more money to make the house safer, up to code and everything, and to enable me to be in a positive cash flow after all the payments I have to pay and after factoring in the fact that sometimes it takes like 3 months to evict a tenant if this has happened or even more. And I did that. About a year and a half later, 2 young girls, one of them looks like really great. She had a great credit score. She had a great reference from previous landlords. Everything, she showed me like a balance in the bank. Everything looks so fantastic that this is the perfect tenant. About 2 days after she moved in with her girlfriend, she told me, unfortunately, the girlfriend attacked her or something. They were like a couple. She doesn't feel safe in the house anymore and she is leaving. And I remained, and the other one, of course, stayed in the house. She didn't have a job, she didn't have a credit score, she didn't have nothing. The other one left. All she had to do, she didn't even have to go and complain to the police. She filed a little form saying she's not feeling safe in the house, and woof, the lease and everything that comes with it, with the wind. I am the one who has the problem now. And this tenant lived in the house for 4 months without paying the rent, of course, as long as she could, you know, buy time and, you know, keep it. And plus, because she was mentally unstable and whatever, she left her dogs, like 3 or 4 of them, in the house for many hours without taking them out. And they ruined the floor. They peed, they pooped. It was a nightmare. So I am like, for 4 months, I'm seeing my own house that I invest so much money to make it nice and safe and clean, basically destroyed. So that was about another $7,000 to replace the whole floor because of that tenant. And this is just like 2-3 years from the time I bought it. Very devastating, very frustrating, very you're helpless because there's nothing you can do. The system works so slow and seems to be so biased that nobody's really protecting you. Nobody's really protecting the one who actually respect the law, respect the lease, respect the tenant, Nobody was there to protect me. Nowadays, it's even worse. I have a tenant that back 3 months back, he has drug issues. He's violent. He threatened the other tenant that lives downstairs. By the way, the tenant downstairs were perfect tenants, fantastic, respectful, clean, pay on time, anything, a landlord wants. They only stayed in the house a few months before they start telling me, there is like violent fights upstairs, 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning. One time, the girlfriend was afraid he's going to hurt her, so she ran to hide in their apartment. The police knock on the door. They report drug deals in the backyard. He became violent. He threatened them. They went to the police. The whole thing. You would think that something like that is bad enough for me. After they left the house. They couldn't stay there. For me, as a landlord, that feel that the house is not protected, the house is not safe, that the system will somehow protect me and will deal with it. Wrong. No and no. First of all, I filed the eviction with all the recording and all the information, including after the tenant downstairs left, the insurance company was uneasy with the fact that it's not vacant and there is issues with the tenant upstairs. They asked me to install security cameras in the basement apartment, and I did that. I went, I connect Wi-Fi to Rogers, I bought cameras, I installed it, I did everything that I can to satisfy the insurance. And of course, the girlfriend one night broke into the house, stole the camera. It's all recorded on camera, stole the camera, and the next day, the other tenant broke the camera in the entrance and destroyed it. And all that is recorded and documented, and it's still not enough. Because after 3.5 months, when finally I got my time in court with the hearing, with all the documents, and I hired a paralegal to do everything, paid her extra to do everything according to the law and to whatever the regulation ask, because I'm not familiar with all the nuance and I knew how difficult it is. He comes and he says, well, I didn't know I need to bring papers. I didn't know I need to deliver papers. And what the judge do? The judge giving him another hearing, God knows when, and all that time, this is now 3 months and it's going to be 4 months, he's not paying rent. This is like $7,000 or more. This is destroying me financially. This is an emotional nightmare to deal with someone like that. And it seems that nobody really can do anything. You can't call them. You can't even ask. There is no communication with them. There is no phone. There is no office. There is nothing that you can even ask. When is the next hearing? Something so basic like that. And again, you may think, okay, that's those landlords' problems. Who cares about that? But the one who are actually affected from that is not just me. It's not just about, well, the system is broken. And I want to say something about the system. I don't think there are bad people or stupid people who works there. I think the judge there is probably more experienced than all of us to sense and smell when is this abusive tenant, the one that manipulates the system, the one who knows how to work the system, when he sees them. But I think traditionally, from various reasons, I don't know exactly all, the system is biased. It's very hard. It's very hard for any landlord in any situation like that to defend their rights traditionally, because those are the guidelines. Plus, the system is lacking manpower, so it takes like 3-4 months to even get the first hearing. And the damage is already done at that point, because for me and for many other landlords, it's not if a tenant miss rent or miss a payment or cause a damage that, we are going to miss a Michelin 3 stars restaurant and say, okay, we'll do it next month. No, for a lot of us, and for me, it is, how do I pay the mortgage next month? How do I pay the utilities? I'm paying the utilities every month for this tenant that goes up and up and up. And nobody, of course, care about. I can't go to the electric company, to the water, to the city and say, hey, he's not paying. Nobody cares. It's still your responsibility. I still have to do it. And I do it because I obey the law. And again, this broken system, not because the people are bad, but it's affecting all of us. It's affecting specifically those good tenants, like the tenant I had in the apartment before that had to leave. Because they were good, they pay the rent on time, and they are the one affected. Because think about it. Let's assume I'm not a greedy landlord, and let's assume next tenant, although everything goes up, the mortgage rate is going up, the utility is going up, all the expenses are going up, but let's say I'm trying to give them a break a little bit and not raising everything proportionally to the cost that I have. Let's say I'm trying to do that. If a bad tenant is causing me so much damage, how can I do that? So the broken system is affecting not only greedy landlord or honest landlord, it's affecting good tenant that try to get affordable rental housing. And this is why the broken system is an interest of everybody. People talking about tools and ways to fix the house crisis, the prices. And there is like long terms, like talking about building more, of course, it's needed, and investing more on like building affordable building. And this will take years, and this will take a lot of resources to do. Fixing the system is something relatively easy. It's not just the right thing to do. It can actually help. Where are you politicians when there is something so obvious that needs to be fixed and nobody is doing anything about it? Anybody who knows the system, and I've been talking to a few experienced landlords, more experienced than me, that say the same thing, paralegal, anybody who's like knows the system, they say, this is the worst legal system we have. Everybody knows that. Why nobody's doing anything about it when it is so important? I am frustrated, I'm upset, I don't know what honestly to do. I can't contact them, I can't expedite anything, my voice is not heard, and when it will be heard, it might be too late. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed the video you just saw, hit the subscribe button below. Even if you think the video you just saw is a complete garbage, hit the subscribe button below. Because who knows, maybe next week it's gonna be much better. I would love to hear your feedback. And I would love to know if you have any ideas for future topics you want me to discuss. Let me know. And don't forget to check the Joe Mogul website, because Joe Mogul website has videos that may put a smile on your face, maybe provoke a new idea in your head, and maybe inspire you to work towards your financial freedom. Because remember, every big dream starts with a small step, and that small step can start with a little tip on the Joe Mogul video on Wednesday morning. Ah! Yeah. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Ooh.